Right, good evening, everybody. Welcome along to another edition of the United View. I'm Ben Pearce from at the Reds United. If you want to get involved at all in a debate tonight, at the United View is what you need to search on Twitter. That's what you need to tweet tonight, or you can comment with fellow Reds. It's either over there in the comment box or over there in the comment box. We've been doing this for about 8, 9 episodes now. I can't remember which side it is. It's one of the sides. Feel free to discuss while we chat. Right, on the show tonight, no Tom Doyle with us, our scorekeeper and goal editor. He's unfortunately working tonight, but we have got our ever trusted panellist. Sean, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Ben. Been looking forward to this. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know, international break kind of spoils everything, doesn't it? But we'll get back to that. And tonight we've got a very special guest as well, someone who me and Sean know really well. We've worked with him before. He is one of the hosts on Stressy News, which is an amazing fan-made YouTube channel. He's also said bits and pieces as well on LBC. He's everywhere. He's like an infection. Is that a nice thing to say? I don't know, but he's Serge anyway. Serge, thank you for coming on, mate.
No worries, mate. Pleasure.
You don't mind being compared to an infection, do you?
No, I mean I've been called worse. I've been likened to Ebola before.
Right, okay. There we go. I'm being kind tonight. Right, let's move on. Let's start, shall we? And start off with the international break. We get to the West Brom preview and Dani Alves in a little while. International break, Sean. I did say, can you please try and watch some international football so you can give some feedback? Did you manage to watch any?
I watched the England games, and I did actually watch the first Colombia game as well with Falcao's goal. That was one.
That was a bit of a header, wasn't it?
Pardon?
That was a bit of a header, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was stupid o'clock in the morning as well. That was dedication to this show.
There we go.
The task of watching international football.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Serge, did you watch any?
No, mate. I don't. To be honest, I don't really like internationals. I think it's a waste of time. I'm a club before countryman, and feel free to give me abuse for it. But I'm a big United fan. Not a massive England fan. Great on paper, but they never seem to play well. Follow the Reds abroad, kind of here and there. I mean, I don't often believe they bring their international form to the national form, shall we say, to the national platform. So I don't really think how they play for England really reflects how they play on the field for Manchester United as such. Usually confidence is different in the different changing rooms. So no, I'm not an international man.
I mean, thank Falcao scored a goal, which was lovely to see, a lovely header. I think Colombia also won their second game. Argentina, done all right. I think Rojo played the first game, was benched the second game against Hong Kong, and I think Di Maria played against Brazil as well. I mean, they lost. Sean, talking about whether people bring international form backwards and forth, should be worried that Argentina lost against Brazil. Will Di Maria and Rojo come back sad, and will it affect their club form?
I don't think so, actually. I think I did watch a bit of that game as well. It seemed to be a while ago. I think Argentina played quite well, actually, and Brazil were fairly lucky. I can't remember the details, but I think they might have had a penalty. I don't know, I can't remember. But,
I mean, I think it's a shame that Rooney obviously is suspended, because the fact that he's scored a few goals on England break, Serge, surely would give him a good bit of confidence as well.
Sorry, what was that, Ben?
I said Rooney, obviously, where he scored a few goals for England, it's unfortunate that he's on his suspension as well going into the next few games, because that would have given him a bit of confidence as well.
Yeah, but then again, you've got to weigh up the two confidences. You can weigh up the confidence of the international. Obviously, he scored for the international, but then, the confidence of playing for United, because you got to remember, he took that, he took the punt on the West Ham player, and that gave us the win in essence, and it gave confidence to Manchester United. So it's weighing up the two confidences of confidence for England, because obviously he scored, and also the confidence of helping United win the game.
Yeah, well, it's true.
And I believe the national platform is much more important than the international platform.
Yeah, spot on. Club football is way more relevant than international football, and it's back. It's been back with a bang today. We've seen Liverpool win just against only QPR, and we've also seen, of course, Arsenal struggle against Hull. Chelsea got another win against Crystal Palace as well, and let's not talk about City. The West Brom game is coming up nice and quickly. Monday night, we're away to West Brom, where, of course, we all remember last season we lost at home. Can't remember the away game very well, Sean.
I was there.
Actually, just thinking about it, I can't
What
recall
was it,
anything.
Serge?
I was at the last away West Brom game. Fellaini set up Welbeck, I think, to score. I think Welbeck scored a couple, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or Welbeck scored the last one. I remember that for sure.
Yeah.
And Ben Foster had a bit of a nightmare, I think. I don't really remember. But I went to the last game. We won. It was under David Moyes, believe it or not, and we won. So we should be winning quite comfortably tomorrow night, in my opinion. If anything of David Moyes' tenure is to go off.
Yeah, no, I've got to agree. I mean, looking at the West Brom game, Serge, we'll come straight to you anyway. Obviously, you was there last year. The last away game I remember against West Brom, that was a vivid memory of the Moyes era. Was of course a 5-5. They looked very dangerous against us then, but a very different side now. West Brom. Where are their threats? Do you reckon?
Where they're are they a threat? You got to look at the team. Obviously the West Bromwich Albion lineup. Who have they brought in the summer that would make their squad strong? I look at the likes of Victor Anichebe. United always seem to struggle against big forwards. Obviously we didn't last week against the big Lukaku, who actually used to play for West Brom. And obviously you can't really compare Anichebe and Lukaku. You can in size, but not in quality. Obviously, I rate Lukaku a lot higher than I would do at Anichebe. But then again, Anichebe does have that threat where he is still poses, strong, and we're not great defensively, so we might find ourselves, causing a few problems.
No, yeah, I've got to agree. I'm looking at that West Brom thing, and I know they brought in that guy for 10 million, a striker, Sean, IDE. I mean, I know they've got Guy as well on loan from Chelsea. But really, looking at their side, and Sean, you don't watch other teams play, but United, our positive, should surely take us on in that game, Sean. Surely our attacking threat cannot be undermined against West Brom.
No, it can be. We've got to mention, I think it's Berahino. He's obviously scored quite a few this season for him.
Another club's footballer. I am absolutely impressed, Sean.
Well, actually, they haven't updated their website yet. They're still saying he's the second highest scorer in the league. Obviously, Aguero took that place yesterday. So I did a little bit of research, Ben. Are you impressed?
I actually am.
But yeah, no, obviously we've got to look out for him. But hopefully we should have Jones back tomorrow. I would have been a little bit upset if we'd have dropped McNair to put Jones in. But as McNair's injured, it don't matter. Our back four should look pretty strong tomorrow with Jones in there. And like you say, our attacking threat, we shouldn't have a problem at all, really.
Hopefully not. We can only hope, can't we? And it's interesting that you mentioned Jones and McNair, because my next point was to talk about the starting lineup. Now, McNair, as you said, Serge, quickly on McNair, he had a great game against Lukaku, didn't he?
Yeah, look, he had him in his back pocket. That's quite surprising. If you ask me, someone for obviously of Lukaku's experience to come up against a very young McNair, and he seemed to do very well with him. Him alongside Rocco decided, played very well. I thought. I thought the last time we were out, obviously against Everton, we played very well. I think defensively we were very good as well. Considering the people that we have injured and people we have whatever, I think suspended or whatever. I thought we did very well.
I thought we played really well.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. McNair was fantastic. So Anichebe should be less of a challenge as such, unlike Lukaku, who I would think poses more of a threat. But then, who knows? I can't say, everything's bang on every week. It's not, every time we go against a team, I'm not going to think, it's going to be a standard 2-0. You just don't know. The Premier League is so unpredictable. He might have had a top game against Lukaku, but he might butcher it against Anichebe. We just don't know. The guy's so young, and we can't put pressure on him.
I know Sunderland, but saying that point, I know Sunderland have had a bad start to the season, but who would have said 8-0 Southampton? I don't think anyone would have thought that. The Premier League is just so unpredictable, just like the Man United treatment table at the moment. I mean, we have got some people back from injury for this game, so I put it out on Twitter, at the United View, you can still get involved. Does the manager now have a selection dilemma? Blackett's coming back into the frame, Jones is back in the frame, Rojo's playing well, Blind's playing well. You've got, obviously, McNair's just gone out injured, unfortunately. If he was fit, who would you play? I mean, Shaw left back, Raphael right back. I think he's got a bit of a selection dilemma, to tell you the truth, and I'm not sure which 11 he will play on Saturday. Just quickly thinking, Sean, talking about that 11, what do you reckon? Who will play? Does he go straight for Jones?
Right. Yeah, I would go with Jones. I'd go De Gea in there, obviously. Raphael, Jones, Rojo, and Shaw. Blind, Di Maria. Now I'm a bit questioning whether to bring Herrera straight back in or not. I know they're saying he's fit, and it'd be good for him to get some minutes before we go into Chelsea, but if he plays tomorrow and has a recurrence of his injury, he would then be missing completely against Chelsea. Was it rib injuries? Has it healed 100%? Do we need to rush him back? Who can we play instead of Fellaini? Right, Herrera's playing. And then after Falcao in RVP.
I mean, Andrew says on Twitter that if he has got a bit of a selection dilemma with these injuries coming back, it's a good issue to finally have again, people competing for spots. Lord Woodward on Twitter, James says, De Gea, Raphael, Jones, Rojo, Shaw, Herrera, Blind, Di Maria, Mata, Falcao, Robin, Van Persie. So he'd throw Herrera and Jones straight back in. It's not the same though for JJ on Twitter, who would put Fletcher and Januzaj in instead of Herrera and Mata for him, but Jones gets straight in the team. Looking as well, the annoying orange agrees with your team, Sean. Also, D'Amelio says he would go exactly the same as you, Sean. On top of that, I'm just quickly scrolling up now. Red Brigade would go with Adnan if Herrera isn't 100% fit in that central midfield role. Serge, two S's in the call today. Who would you go for? I mean, obviously, we wouldn't risk Herrera if he was not 100%, would we?
No, obviously not. It wouldn't make sense, especially against a team like West Brom, where you'd expect us to get a result, not like we're guaranteed a result like you would usually think in previous years. Who would I go with? What, instead of Herrera in the middle?
Well, put it this way: what would you go with your 11? Because obviously the back four, who would you partner with? Rojo? Surely you'd play Rojo, wouldn't you? And then obviously, who would you play in that midfield?
Well, I think, based on the last performance against Everton, I think for me, Luke Shaw's a given. He's got to play. I thought Luke Shaw was phenomenal, to be honest. Apart from obviously the penalty decision, which I believe he got the ball. My opinion, obviously being a blinkered red, he obviously got the ball. I play Luke Shaw, left back, centre back. I probably play Rojo, either with McNair or Blackett, one of the two. Probably, I'm going to go more likely with Blackett, if I'm honest with you. I love McNair. I think he's a great player. I just think we need to ease him in, slowly. If he is, if he's going to play, obviously players are injured. Or Jones, Blackett or Jones. I just think.
I think he's injured anyway, Serge. McNair is out injured. He can't play anyway. He's got 3 weeks out.
That's right. He did a hamstring or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So either Blackett or Jones. I'd probably be likely to go with Blackett, to be honest. I don't think Jones is a ball playing defender. I think we need a defender that can carry the ball forward, and I think Blackett's got that kind of swagger. And if you look at previous games that he's played in, you're able to see that he's able to ping them, left and right and whatnot. Whereas Jones kind of gets the ball and he wants to get rid of it a bit like a hot potato. So I think Blackett would be my first choice alongside Rojo, obviously with Raphael, who's been, for me, one of our best players since the start of the season. Do you want my midfield as well?
Who'd you play, yeah?
Well, I'd go with... who would I go with? I'd probably go with Blind, Mata and Di Maria. And then I was about to put Welbeck in the team.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Is
Oh,
this
God,
Sergio
forgive me.
boys? Who is this guy?
Forgive me. Yeah, so I will obviously put up front Falcao and Van Persie, and I will put.
And sorry, just to confirm, Januzaj, right? Not Welbeck.
Yeah, Januzaj. That's what I meant. You know, very easy name to get confused between.
Yeah, just two completely different letters at the start of their name, so it's, you know.
Januzaj Beck.
Yeah. Imagine if that would be his nickname in years to come, actually.
Well, I hope not, because I hope Januzaj can finish.
All right, okay, you got me there.
Okay, so I'd go for Blind, Di Maria, who else did I say? Mata,
And Welbeck,
and probably I'd like to see Januzaj given a place in the team. So probably Januzaj, and then obviously Falcao and Van Persie.
See, Pranav agrees with you on Twitter. Apart from that, he would play. No, sorry, he completely agrees with you. He'd play Blackett actually and Jones instead of Rojo in the back four. But he completely agrees with you. Played Mata in that midfield.
I thought Rojo played very well, although he is a bit of a no-nonsense defender. I mean, you saw a couple of times with Everton.
That's what he won.
He just whacked it out into the air. But I didn't mind that because you know what they say: if in doubt, boot it out.
Yeah. And to be honest, what I've got to say about Rojo is he has a bit of aggression about him. He wants to win that ball, and I love that in the defence. I love that in the defence.
He cares.
He really does.
Against so does Jones, but I just don't think Jones. It's very difficult to choose between Rojo and Jones, in my opinion. Because you could play either against Blackett with Blackett, but I think Blackett's got to start. I just think he's that defender that can bring the ball out. You know, we don't have that defender, and I really see the qualities in Blackett where he, just look at the previous fixtures that we played, and look at the games that he's played in, and look at his, his positioning and the way he's able to distribute the ball. He's the only defender, in my opinion, alongside Johnny Evans a year ago. Johnny Evans of a year ago, not the Johnny Evans of this season, who can actually distribute the ball.
Now, see, the issue I've got is that Van Gaal likes to play a right-footed defender on the right-hand side. Now, if we're playing Rojo and Blackett, we're playing two left-footed midfield defenders.
So then you're probably more likely to see Blackett and Jones. Or is Jones a right-footer?
Yeah, Jones is right-footer.
So you
because
see
in the last game when we played McNair, I think Blackett was available. So we could have.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he was probably just coming back from injury.
No, he was suspended. He wasn't injured, was he?
Suspended. Against Leicester. You're right. I don't know. In my opinion, I'm not the manager of Manchester United, but if it was me, I'd choose Blackett over McNair. I don't believe that. I believe McNair's a great player, and it's really exciting to see him come through. But the same with Dani Alves. We can't rely on him. It's not fair. You need to let the kid, grow in himself, be able to, play in them to under 21s and whatnot. You can't just, push him to the front and say, there you go. Have a senior season.
Do you know what I think is great about this, Serge? Actually, the fact that we're having this debate right now. At the start of the season, we were saying, who are we going to play at centre back? Who's good enough to play at centre back for Man United? And we're actually arguing now about who's the best player to start in that position in our defence, which is brilliant because they've all proved themselves. They've all shown they can play. Just looking as well. Who's this guy? Says you only need one ball-playing defender, and I think that's Rojo. Christian agrees with Sean, saying two left-footers, Rojo, Blackett. I don't think Van Gaal would go with it, but agrees. Who's this guy also, going back to the midfield debate, says, what about Anderson? Sean, one word, what about Anderson? One word, Sean. What about Anderson?
Impossible.
Hello to at Adrixano, who's got in touch and says, why don't we play a 4-2-3-1? Carrick's back. Let's play two holding midfielders with Carrick, Blind, Mata, Januzaj, Falcao. Sean, do you reckon that's a bit too defensive?
Go on, well, I'll just jump in there. I actually noticed online earlier on, I think it was from The Guardian, saying that Carrick is being lined up to play for the under-21s on Friday, I believe. So I don't think he's fit enough to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Obviously, you could still go with that formation and use Fletcher alongside Blind, but I don't want to see that. We, we've got fantastic attacking ability, fantastic attacking players. All right.
I'd agree with you, Sean. I think we need to, it's one of them where we kind of outscore everybody.
Yeah, I know. We want to be keeping clean sheets. We don't want to be conceding goals, etc., etc. But we should be able to go out with the players we've got. Falcao, obviously, he scored during the international break. He will now come back with a little bit more confidence. He's got his first goal for the club. I expect him to score tomorrow night, to be quite honest. If he doesn't, I'll be disappointed. And I think he would be. And I think the majority of Reds will be absolutely disappointed if he doesn't score tomorrow. Obviously, if he doesn't, there's not a lot we can do about it. But he's going to be up on confidence. Van Persie, well, Holland had a disastrous international break. So I just don't know what Van Persie we're going to get turn up, to be quite honest. But you can't.
Can I make a point?
Yeah.
There's two names which we haven't mentioned as of yet, and these are these could be talking points. One of them is the return of Chris Smalling, and the other one is the return of Ashley Young. Now, I could probably guess what the feeling within the United fan club would be as to those two players. I know what my feelings would be. Which would probably be I wouldn't want to see any of them on the field probably ever again. If I'm honest with you, I think Ashley Young never quite cut the mustard and was, obviously if you read in Sir Alex's book, he was meant to be brought in to replace Giggs, and I think that's just offensive to Giggs, to be honest. And if you look at Chris Smalling, another guy who's got two left feet, he can't do very much. I don't rate Chris at all. I'm nervous whenever he's on the ball. I don't know what he's going to do with it. So, I mean, it's just interesting to know whether Van Gaal might play one of them two. I mean, I don't know what
Smalling's an interesting one, because if we are having a bit of a centre-back dilemma and we are thinking, who's going to play? I mean, Smalling's going to be in there. He's going to be in and around there. I mean, going back to, again, talking about players, Ashley Young, for me, I think he's always going to be a bit of a sure backup if he is fit. I just go back quickly, Serge. I was going to come to you with this one, actually. Obviously, we did just mention Michael Carrick briefly, but Nathan's mentioned on Twitter, how come we're not mentioning him in terms of replacing Herrera if Herrera's not fit, which we were. He's used the words, surely his second choice to Herrera. Now, how do you see this? When Carrick's back, is he second choice to Herrera and Blind?
I don't think it quite works like that. I mean, I think you're going to have to probably see how Van Gaal's going to try and... He's not obviously going to fit them all in the same team. I mean, you've got a dilemma of three. You've got Blind, you've got Herrera, and you've got Carrick. Those are the three midfielders who are, midfielders, strong... typical midfielders, as you would call it. I think it's going to be a rotation game, to be honest. I can't see Van Gaal favouring one over the other, if I'm honest with you. I think, you saw in Van Gaal's press conference when he first moved to United how gutted he was to leave to lose Carrick to injury. So I believe that Van Gaal rates him quite highly. So I believe that it'll probably be a rotation game. I don't think there'll be, first, second, or third choice. Obviously, if someone has a blinder one game, you'll probably see them pick for the next game. But apart from that, I could probably see them being rotated.
Yeah, and Ryan and Gamer Hub are making great points here, Sean, on that topic on YouTube, saying, where have we been struggling recently? 60 to 70 minutes. We need someone to maintain possession. We need someone who's experienced. We need someone who is a lot better than Fletcher, who is good a quality to make that first team. But surely Carrick's the ideal man to come off that bench.
Yeah, absolutely off the bench, not to start.
No?
No, I wouldn't start him if we've got Herrera Blind fit. Obviously, yes, there is question marks over Herrera's fitness. I would like him to play sometime tomorrow, but from what I've read, I don't think Carrick's ready anyway, so the argument for tomorrow is irrelevant.
Yeah, I can't see Carrick playing tomorrow either.
In the future, for the Chelsea game, would you play Herrera or Carrick?
Oh, now that is a question. I mean, I don't want us to look at Chelsea. To be honest, I don't want to, we could have previewed Chelsea today, but I thought, do you know what? We can't leap before we jump. For me, you know, we shouldn't think at all about Chelsea at the moment. Let's focus on the West Brom game. But it is interesting. Oh, who would you play against Chelsea, Herrera or Carrick? I mean, you got the experience. You got.
I'd play them both. I'd probably play Blind, Carrick, and Herrera. I think Herrera's a slightly different breed. I think Herrera's a slightly different breed in terms of he's a bit more pacey. I would say, obviously, maybe because he's younger. I don't know. He's a bit more pacey. He can bring the ball forward a lot quicker than Carrick or Blind would. I think Blind and Carrick are probably more defensive than Herrera. Herrera does have a tendency to get forward. So I would play all three of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Absolutely pack it.
Yeah, don't let Fabregas play.
and maybe play Blind as a centre back. Maybe play Blind as a centre back and take out one of the other players. I'm just putting stuff out. I'm just gonna leave it there.
It's great. Things, isn't it? Because we come on, and obviously we kind of have a little thing. We know what we're going to talk about. 99% of the time, you struggle to keep on topic because there's just so many things to talk about, not just in this United team, but in football in general. But in terms of the West Brom game, we'll end on this. Dave Green said agrees with you, Serge. McNair Blackett should keep the second centre half slot until Jones properly impresses and gets some form. Herman says Rojo and Jones will be our strongest centre back partnership. AJ says tell Serge that Jones is the only one ball playing centre back that you need with Rojo. That's why we bought him, Jones and Rojo, all the way. And one last thing, Man United update says Van Gaal has said the players are fit but not match fit, so you never know. He might make changes every so often to rotate the squad. And Nathan agrees with that.
Which players are not match fit?
Well, I think in terms of last time, he said Fellaini is back in training but not match fit, and of course he came on for a little bit. He said the same about Carrick, Herrera as well. He said he's not match fit, but of course he's fit because he's going to be wearing that corset. So again, with Smalling, Valencia's still out injured, by the way. He won't be back. McNair won't be back. So we'll just have to wait and see. I'm really, really intrigued to see the starting lineup for West. I'm really intrigued. And as I agree with Serge, I'd like to see Januzaj somewhere in that team. Right, let's move on from West Ham anyway. Quickly, score predictions, Serge, please.
3-0.
Sean?
3-1. Falcao 2, Van Persie 1.
All right. I didn't realise we're doing goal scorers as well.
Go on, Serge.
Right. Who would I go with? Probably I'd go with Falcao to get on the score sheet, Ron Van Persie to get on the score sheet, and I think you're going to see an unlikely scorer.
Yeah.
I might just leave it at that. I might not say.
Would it be a Dunn or Corker own goal?
You know what? I'm not even going to speculate. I'll leave that to the 90 minutes to decide. But I think you're going to find an unexpected goal. You heard it here first. Get your bets on, guys.
Right, here we go.
Fellaini comes on in the 70th minute.
Yeah, there we go. I'd love to see James Wilson come on and grab a goal anyway.
Fellaini to score a 97th minute winner.
Right,
from our own half.
You're going for a 3-2 now, aren't you? You're going for a David Beckham 3-2 Wimbledon strike, but Fellaini instead. This is great. Let's move on. Let's move on for the West Brom game. Whatever happens, come on United. Right. Big talking point this week. Might have been international break, but the transfer rumours just keep on coming. If it's not Strootman or Vidal again, it's someone out of the blue. And this week, Sean, it's Dani Alves, a FIFA agent who claims to know it all, has come out and said that apparently Dani Alves has already agreed to sign for United in the summer. He is, I think, 31 now, isn't he? He's kind of gone off form a little bit here and there, but he's still renowned as one of the best fullbacks in Europe. Dani Alves, where would you stand with that, Sean? And it would be on a free transfer, by the way.
I've seen a little bit about it. Obviously, I know it's a free transfer. Seems that he'd be wanting stupidity sort of amount of money for wages. Okay, I've been told, as you know, I don't know anything about other players, so I've sort of done a little bit of research. I've been told that he's sort of similar to Evra in the fact that he's good attacking, but his defensive skills aren't quite what they were, or doesn't get back quite as quick. I don't know. It'd be good to have a proper backup for Rafael, to be quite honest. But that's all he would be. And if it's going to take stupid amounts of money to pay him every week to be a backup to Rafa, then why don't we go out and get someone that can rotate with Rafa? Or
I think just to add on to Sean, I think we need someone to challenge Rafa.
Yeah.
I love it to bits. I think it's been one of our best players this season. But our competition in the right back section is pretty minimal.
It's
And,
Valencia, isn't it? It's Valencia who's not right back, and that's it.
Yeah, he's not a right back, and for me, he doesn't even seem to be a right mid. He played better at centre mid last game.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Yeah,
he was brilliant. He has the right build for a centre mid, especially a one to get stuck in. He loves a bit of a challenge, and he's quick as well. So just like a pacey centre mid. So I thought Valencia made a better centre mid, and you see what happens when he goes on the wing. Valencia, he goes on the ring, he does the same thing. He gets to the end and he stops. He doesn't know what to do. He looks left and right, and then he just smashes it into the box and hopes for some kind of touch or deflection or something to go in the net. And then we'll all sing his praises.
The ball boys go out into the car park to collect the balls.
Yeah, most likely that. But I don't believe I don't. Isn't Dani Alves, by the way? Isn't he the guy that once said when people say the word Manchester, they automatically talking about Manchester United and there isn't any other team of Manchester? I'm pretty sure he said that.
It was when City was first in the Champions League, and I think it was a few years ago now. It was when City were drawn against Barcelona, and he came out in an interview and said, "I didn't even know there was a second team in Manchester."
Yeah, that's right. Something like that. Yeah.
Well, either way, I mean, I'm putting it out there on Twitter. I'm putting it out there on YouTube, guys. Comment in the box. It's great to see those of you chatting tonight, and also send us tweets at the United View. Would signing Dani Alves then hinder or help Rafael's progress? You hit on it then, Sean. You wouldn't sign him if he was going to start week in, week out, right? But if he was there in training week in, week out, would that help Rafael? Would that scare him? Would that make him think, oh, actually, I might have competition, I might leave? Or what would it do to Rafael?
Yeah, I suppose you could say it'd give him some experience, but I don't think it would push him because what is he now? 31, did we say?
Yeah.
So what's he going to be next summer? He's going to be hitting 32. He's not going to be pushing him for a starting place. So.
Yeah, but you say he's not going to be pushing him for a starting place, but he is Barcelona's first choice right back. At the moment, I think Maicon's in and out the Brazil team, but he's still playing for Brazil as well. I mean, this is a huge international star, is it not?
I don't know. I just don't think him. He would be there as a backup. Yes, okay, he's got a lot of experience, but I don't think it would push Rafa on at all.
This is Dani Alves. Dani Alves, Brazil's #1 right back for God knows how long. He's still playing for him. He's Barcelona's, like, while they went through their best phase, their #1 right back. And, I mean,
if he was 26, 27, then let's all jump for bloody joy. But he's going to be 32 next season.
Yeah. It's for me. It's the same kind of issue with Robin van Persie. He's been great, and I've loved having Robin at the club. But you got to remember, guys, he's pushing 31 now. He was 29, turning 30 at United, a season ago or whatever. Now he's turning 31. Times are moving on for Robin. Yeah, he could probably still bag a few, but I think this season's, proven that he's lost a yard. On him. He's not as quick as he once thought he was. I don't believe anyway. I still think Robin's great player technically, but ability-wise, I think he's probably he's lost a couple of yards on him on other players, and I think you might see Robin get phased out in the next few seasons, a couple of seasons, I would say, and probably obviously Falcao's coming. But then again, Falcao's not so young either.
I think he's 27, isn't he?
I don't know.
Now we're talking about ages. Let's go back to Carrick. He's 33, for goodness sake.
That's what I mean.
And do you know what? That's what angered me through the end of Fergie's era to the start of David Moyes' era. The fact that we was relying on a 33, that 31, 32, 33-year-old to push us through. I mean, anyway, staying on Dani Alves. Ulster's Finest has sent us a tweet saying Alves is too old and unreliable. Keep Raphael, young promising player with a lot to prove. So that's obviously if he's going to push him out. Hello to Wakas, who says that Guillaume Balaguer says that it was a false story. Dani Alves hasn't agreed anything. And hello to Usher, who says Raphael can learn one or two things from Dani Alves, considering he doesn't play for the Brazilian national team. And by the way, talking about the Brazilian national team, hello to Ryan, who says whoever plays for Brazil is politics. Gamer Hub says it would give Raphael a headache. And Nathan says Dani Alves is a very good player. Believe me, he will push Raphael for that starting spot. So, putting all that in mind, putting what you guys have said in mind, where do we stand? Quickly, Serge, sign Dani Alves. Yes, no. What would be your thinking behind it?
For me, it depends on the wages. All depends on the wages. If the wages are ridiculous, then for me, it's I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't buy him. If the wages are mad, then I wouldn't buy him. I don't think it's necessary that we, that we spend any more on wages unnecessarily. Yeah, they probably make up for a fee that we'd probably pay for him from Barcelona. But then again, he's going to push Rafa for the spot. I mean, when Maicon moved to City, right? Maicon's a right back, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Zabaletta's a right back.
Yeah.
Right. I reckon Maicon pushed Zabaleta, and that's what made Zabaleta such a good player. I mean, Maicon's experience and whatnot. And now, obviously, I'm not putting the same bracket, but I think if Dani Alves was to move to United, it'd probably bring Raphael out even more so, and might even push him to to become the best right back in the league for seasons to come. And he has that potential.
Yeah, no,
so
completely.
For me, it all depends on the wages.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's a free transfer. I mean, he's a world-class player. I would just go for him. He might be at the end of his career, wouldn't it? And again, he could help Raphael, Sean.
Well, I'm being reliably informed by @TillyMay1994 that we need to sign him because it would help Rafa's progress, and he has got the experience to help him. She's a woman. I ain't going to argue with her.
There we go. Thank you very much, Sean. Learning from experience already. Right. Anyway, another massive thing happening this week. Man United reached a milestone on their social networking calendar. Do you remember a few seasons ago when we was all the clubs were getting Twitter and they were all on Facebook, and we were all sitting here thinking, why the hell aren't United online? Well, we are online. We've kind of grown ridiculously online, which shows the stature of the club. 60 million likes on Facebook we're now up to, which is absolutely incredible. But I was just thinking, Serge, I think Cristiano Ronaldo himself has something like 1 billion Facebook likes.
Yeah, but that's like saying, Justin Bieber's got X amount of followers. It's a brand, people buy into Bieber like they buy into Ronaldo. It becomes less about the football and more about the player. So, no player is bigger than the club, however much I do love Ronaldo. Just the way it is. The big deal is about 60 million Facebook likes. For me, I don't care.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, Sean, does that we are one of the most liked clubs, obviously, on Facebook and on social networking. Does that show that we are the biggest club in the world? I mean, obviously sponsors and commercial-wise, they read into stuff like this, but for fans, does it really highlight it and bring it home?
I think it shows that we're a big club across the world, everywhere. Does it really make any difference? No.
Yeah, but Sean, we already knew this, you know what I mean?
But at the end of the day, how many red seats do we see at Old Trafford week in, week out? How many blue ones did we see yesterday at Etihad?
Well, yeah, that's another point, and not only that, us Reds who want to go to games, like I want to go to West Brom tomorrow, which I'm not going to be able to do because I can't get hold of a ticket for once in my life. I'm not going to be able to go to West Brom away, which I'm pretty fuming about. It just about sums up. We can't get enough of the tickets, whereas City are giving, buy one get one free in their Moscow home game.
Just if we had a deal like that, we could sell Old Trafford out about 16 times, couldn't we?
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on anyway.
Put the Tarks out of business.
We really could. I mean, a massive well done to obviously the social networking team on Facebook. It's brilliant. 60 million likes is great. But as you said, obviously we know we're the biggest club in the world, don't we? Not arrogant, just brilliant. Let's move on then. Any questions for our panel? Tweet them to us at the United View or put them in the comment box at the side. Guys, just quickly, we've spoken about the defence tonight. Just seeing some guys on YouTube discussing it. They're still talking about bringing in another defender in January. I mean, if we say do get Champions League, do you think we do need to go out there and get another defender? Subotic, Hummels, Howders all being mentioned. Sean, what do you reckon?
Yes, we talked about Chris Smalling. I wouldn't necessarily want to see him on the pitch again either. I think it may be time that he moved on. Blackett and McNair have come in and they've played really well, but they don't have enough experience, so they're going to be sort of backups. McNair especially. If we bring in an experienced centre-back, yes, it will make us more secure at the back, but it's also going to move those up-and-coming players down the pecking order, and we'll just see them leave. And everybody keeps going on about our youth policy, but and saying it is dead. It obviously isn't, because we bought a lot of youth players through this season. A lot of youth players have played with the senior team. But if we keep bringing in these world-class, experienced players, they're not going to get games. They're not going to play. Yes, if we get Champions League next year, then maybe there is scope that, yes, we will need another experienced centre-back, not necessarily a world-class centre-back, an experienced centre-back that can rotate with the others.
You know, here's an interesting just twist on that. I'm not going to get shut down. I'm just posing it to you. Okay, I'm just going to pose the actual question to you. With regards to, you know, obviously youth setups as a whole, are youth setups within the big clubs? I'm talking, you know, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, the Man Uniteds, the you know, the big clubs, Juve-ish, whoever else, Chelsea, whatever. Are the youth systems a thing of the past, and do they leave it for smaller clubs to use youth systems, and then eventually they come in and, you know, pick the best of a 24, 25, 26-year-old, and then, you know, bring them into their team and buy them for a lump sum? Whereas if they don't, you know, other than developing their own youth as a whole.
I think it's quite interesting, because if you look at, like, you know, obviously they tried to change the whole youth policy, so to speak. So it's like under 21 football instead of being Manchester United reserves. But nothing has really changed. If you think about it, on Friday, if Carrick does play for the reserves or the under 21s, you're playing a 33-year-old in an under 21s team. And it's like, for instance, Theo Walcott played for the Arsenal 21s. I know Walcott's still young, but they're still using these reserve sides, Premier League clubs especially, to bring people back from injuries. I'm not so sure. I'm going to say this as well, and I could get criticism for this, but I do not believe that even England has a youth policy. I think if a player's good enough, they are thrown in. Januzaj, McNair, Blackett, Walcott for Arsenal, even Chamberlain. Sure.
But let me ask you a question, right? Just adding on to that point. Yes, they're thrown in, but is that as a sign of desperateness? You know, is that because of desperateness, or is it because they've shone amongst all the other top first team players? I don't necessarily believe that that's because they've shone among the other, you know, top first team players. You have an argument to say that for sort of the likes of someone like Ross Barkley, but you know, I don't believe that's, you know, that's within many clubs. I think obviously Everton, to their credit, they use their youth system, you know, to their benefit, and they've produced some fantastic players. You know, Alou, Wayne Rooney.
I think
Ross
desperate in terms if they're British, yes. If they're young and British, straight away, desperate, let's chuck them in and hope that they're good enough. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And also, if they're not British, and they're obviously international, European, whatever, desperate in terms of that they don't want it to end up like Paul Pogba. I believe that if the whole Pogba thing hadn't have happened, then I don't think Januzaj would have been thrown in so quickly. I mean, Sean, what do you think on youth policies you've set up? I mean, I know you watch a little bit of United under 21s now and then, but
but let's just go back. We just obviously had the international break. Under 21s played as well, and they had these crucial playoffs to get to the finals for next year. There was a big hoo-ha that Luke Shaw had been dropped from the senior team, but he was called up to the under 21s. And why was he called up to play for the under 21s? Because there was no one else to play in that position, or no one as good as him in that position. Now, since they've qualified for next summer's tournament or whatever it is, there's now this thing that, right, well, we can have him from the senior team and him and him, because they're all under 21, and they should go and play for the under 21s. Now, I'm sorry, if internationally, not necessarily for club football, if you play for the senior team, you don't go back, in my opinion. Not necessarily for club football, because obviously we've had to use McNair. Now, because of injury, but we might, touch wood, get through the rest of the season without Jones, Rojo, Smalling, Evans when he is back. They don't get injured again, so McNair wouldn't necessarily be used again. So then he'd just be in limbo, wouldn't he? So it doesn't necessarily work for club football as it would international. But yeah, see, you said about desperation. Were we desperate last season to play Januzaj?
Well, he's desperate for that spark.
Yes, we were.
Yeah,
we were desperate for Januzaj. Of course we were.
But then saying
look at the Sunderland game. He won us that game. But I think he won it. He won it us on. I think he won it us on us believing in him. I don't think his ability at that time was different to many of the other players as such. But I think obviously within that season he grew. His ability's grown, but I don't know. It's a really good talking point.
Quickly, I know obviously we've got on and on about this, but Serge, just briefly, I have also seen, going back to thinking about the qualifiers and the England side they're going to pick, I saw on Sky Sports News that they could call Jones up to the under 20 call Jones down to the under 21 sides to play in them European qualifiers, and Oxlade-Chamberlain. Is that the right thing to do?
Probably not.
I mean, no.
I think you know. Once you think
for the first team and you go to under 20, it's a demotion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not a demotion as such, but it's like I wouldn't see it as a demotion because it's you are playing for their age. You know, they are that age. How old is Jones?
Oh God, he's like 22 now, isn't he? But he qualifies because
he's within that year bracket or whatever.
Yeah.
So you know, if he's within that year bracket, then and he gets picked, you know, he should play. You know, these players are professionals. Obviously, they're going to want to play for the main team. And you know, lots of people see it as, oh, we're playing for the under 21s and not playing for, you know, the senior team. I don't know. I think he's got to honour the system as such and play for the under 21s.
Yes, but then you've got the argument, the fact that you've got this group of 18 under 21-year-old players that have got England to those playoffs for the next season's tournament or next summer's tournament. In the playoffs, they brought Luke Shaw down. I'm not sure if there was anybody else. Didn't take an awful lot of notice. They brought Luke Shaw down. So whoever was playing at left back is now being demoted to backup to someone that played in the senior team, has been drafted in to get them to the tournament. Now, you see,
what does that say about England?
That's what I was going to say. The England system at the moment, I mean, it couldn't get any worse, could it?
So with the senior team, why the hell are we even picking Ricky Lambert to play? He will not play in 2016 in the European Cup, whatever it is. So why are we using him now?
I think that's the problem. I think that's the biggest problem. There's no consistency within England teams.
Right.
You know, they seem to change all the time. You look at Germany, you look at France, you look at all the other good teams, and you see there's a trend of the same players constantly playing, and you know, they get to know each other, they get to play with each other, they know how each other plays. I think there's no kind of consistency with that. with England.
It's interesting, and I've got to say, both of you are spot on, but for different reasons. I mean, it's one of those debates. Anyway, let's leave that there. We weren't meant to talk about under 21s, but we've done it. Hello to Stefan Mundos, who says, say hi to a friend here in Chile. Hi, Seba. Nice to have you on with us. Hello to Ulster's Finest, who's got back in touch. The last talking point for today, guys. We need to keep it brief. We need to keep it simple. Who would you sign to replace Robin van Persie? We've all spoken that he's getting the age, he's going on a bit. Do we look for a replacement the coming summer or the summer after? Looking at the moment around the world at strikers, who would you go for? Ulster's Finest had made a great point, and if this guy carries on form, I would also go for him. He said, what about Pele from Southampton? Sure.
Yeah, he's looked very good. He's sort of been standout so far this season. But why are we overlooking James Wilson? Why are we overlooking Will Keane? Why are we going out?
Why are we overlooking people from under 21s?
Why are we going out to buy a world-class player when we've got two players sat there waiting? If we're not going to use them, then let's sell them to someone where they can actually fulfil their potential. I'm not saying sell them to a direct rival. Let's sell them to a championship club and see where they actually go. In the under-21s, they're not. I mean, we've just said the under-21 system in this country is shocking. Why are we keeping him in that? He's too good for the under-21s. Both of them are. So if we're not going to use them, let's get them out on loan. He said that Wilson is obviously our fourth choice striker this season. Fair enough, we can't get rid of him in case we get injured. But why are we automatically saying Van Persie's getting old? Who are we going to buy? Why aren't we looking at our under-21s and saying, right, well, James Wilson is a good player. He's come in last season. He played 2 games. He had a 200% strike rate in his 2 games. I know he had a little bit of a game time this season. Didn't score.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I just add on to that?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna literally just take your head and move it back to 3 minutes ago when I was talking about the youth system problem. We're in this mentality where we don't like to use youth players for, if a big player is getting old, we look to buy a new big player. We don't look to bring in proactive. I think that's a really important word. Januzaj was brought in reactively, not proactively, right? So I think the point is that we don't look for players to bring through proactively. We look to bring them through reactively when things aren't going well. And
So sorry, mate. Saying that, do you agree then with Sean that instead of going, oh, who are we going to buy, you would say, wait a second, let's make that proactive decision?
I think you've got to look at Ron Van Persie, look at his traits, and then weigh up and make an executive decision. That's only down to the manager, and only he can decide whether James Wilson, does play similar or play, just have the same characteristics that Van Persie does hold, and he can play alongside the likes of Radamel Falcao. And if not, then maybe he has the same characteristics as Falcao, and in a few years when Falcao retires or moves on, he'll maybe fill Falcao's role. Look, it's all about weighing it up. Strikers are very different players. You can have lots of very similar box-to-box midfielders, but each striker is individual and different, and they've all got different sets of skills and different sets of characteristics. So yeah.
Swagat says sign Zlatan for lols. Like a Dani Alves signing, won't it? Right, guys. Sean, have you got anything to add, mate?
On what we just discussed, or in general?
On what was just said. Sorry, yeah.
I just think that there's just too much of this mentality of, right, who's the next big? No, who is the current big thing? Let's go and spend lots and lots of money on them. I know, obviously, it brings in revenue for the club, etc., etc. Was it Di Maria was at the top of the shirt?
What about Lucas from Paris Saint-Germain? He doesn't seem to be playing very much, does he? I don't really watch French football, but I haven't heard of him, getting the headlines as such. What about that Lucas from Paris Saint-Germain? He was meant to sign for us, Lucas Moura, wasn't he? And then the contract was there to sign, and Fergie was waiting there with the contract, and he got on a plane to Paris, and off he signed for Paris Saint-Germain.
That's almost as good as what's his name signing for Man City, thinking he was signing for United. That is, but he just went to a different country.
Robinho.
I mean, it's a great debate to have. It's a great debate to have. We are more or less out of time now, though, guys, so we're going to leave it there. Sean, there is one thing which you want to quickly say, though.
Yeah, the Football Blogging Awards, the finalists have been announced. There is one person that I want to give a shout out for. That is at the M United girl. She is the only representative of United in the female category. If you go onto her Twitter page, at the M United girl, her first tweet, you'll see her pin tweet. It's got a link in there how to vote for her. She's up against the Scouser, and we can't let the Scouser win, can we?
No, so make sure you go and check out her profile at the M United girl. We'll put her Twitter name anyway at the United View, and we'll put her link up as well, so you can vote for her. Serge, as always, don't let the Scousers win, right?
Sorry?
I said, as always, don't let the Scousers win, right?
Oh no, the Scousers should never win. Scousers don't deserve to win. They don't deserve to win anything.
Right, that's all we've got time for.
The only thing they deserve to win is a get out of jail free card.
Right, okay, we're not playing Monopoly anymore, so I think that was a dig. Right, let's end it there, though. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching the United View. Of course, these guys don't just come and sit on our panel, they have Twitters as well, so you go and check them out. At Serge MUFC and at Sean20 MUFC as well. I got them both right, didn't I?
No, Sean MUFC20.
Oh, there we go. At Sean MUFC20, at Serge MUFC. Check out the Twitters anyway on at United View. Give them a follow. I'm sure they'll follow back and debate with you all day and night long over the next week. And of course, they'll be talking about the West Brom game. So all what's left for me to say is we'll be back Sunday.
One more thing, Ben. Just one more thing.
It's
Can
mad.
we just say happy birthday to Ben? And I hope I look like you when I get to 40.
All right. Well, I'm not 40 anyway. I'm 20. But there we go. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching. Back Sunday after the Chelsea. It is after the Chelsea game, isn't it? After the Chelsea game, we're on at 10 o'clock Sunday night. We shall see you then at the United View. Carry on tweeting. Make sure you subscribe to us as well. Serge, thank you for coming on, mate.
Pleasure. I'm just trying to press the subscribe button. There it is. There it is. Remember, guys, subscribe. Look, I'm pressing the button.
Thank you, and thank you very much once again, Sean.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. One last thing. Come on, United.